Hey, good afternoon,
Hello.
Evie.
How are you doing, everyone?
I'm great. Oh, no, I hope you are well too.
Oh yes. Relaxed.
Yeah,
I think.
there's the word, relaxed. And that just brings us brilliantly to today's topic, of course. So, first of all, what we need to say is um, happy National Relaxation Day, because that's what it's all about
Absolutely.
today. And with that, also to add that although it's a National Relaxation Day and it actually started in the States, it has been kind of adopted here in the UK and maybe in other parts of the world, simply because I think people realise that they're not getting enough of it. So so we're taking the moment today to kind of recognise it, to celebrate it, but also really focus in on the importance of relaxation. And the session, as we've named it, is finding presence in rest, how relaxation influences a woman's visibility. And I think that actually, whilst we can laugh and joke about it, it is such an important thing that we need to do. So with that said, Evie, relaxation, how's it going for you?
Well, I could have so much more of it. I did tell you earlier, I don't think I know what relaxation means at this particular moment in time. But the thing is that it is these moments that sort of signal that yeah, you need to take a break, you need to take a breath, you need to stop controlling everything and let things go. Because at least for me, because there are so many plates in the air at the moment, I think this is exactly what is um, telling me that, we're talking
Yeah.
about push and pull. It's pulling me towards, take that time for yourself. And hurrah for the relaxation day. At least we can take a moment, even if we don't think we need it, to celebrate relaxation. I think it's important, and it's all about self-care, I
Yes,
suppose, in a very, very big
absolutely.
way.
Absolutely. And I think when with the title that we had for today, we were talking about, being in this world that is so demanding, and it is demanding, and there's this constant need for performance, and there's this busyness, and it's like if we're not performing at work, then we need to be performing at home, and we need to be performing somewhere, and it's constant. And what we end up doing is fulfilling all of that stuff. So we are literally fulfilling all of that and pushing relaxation away, when in
Yes.
essence what we need to be doing is pulling it to us, because relaxation, in to me and for me, is all about the time and the space that we give to ourselves to nurture ourselves so that we are replenished and full to do the things that we're being called to do. And it
Correct.
always comes back to that empty cup story. How do you do anything when you're empty, when the well is dry? You may still do it, but guess what? If you're doing lots of stuff on a dry well, burnout is just around the corner. There is no if, buts, or maybes. High stress and all of that stuff.
And it is ironic as well, because you think you're doing so many things because you have to, because otherwise things are not going to happen, either for yourself or for your others, your family, your loved ones. And eventually what is happening is, you are just dropping everything, yourself included, the moment that you get that burnout. And there is no point in getting there, because I know, I don't know about you, but I've always had this sense that, okay, if I don't do all these things, and if and even you hear my voice, I'm getting like anxious talking about it. And something is going to happen, something's not going to be right, whatever. And you take so little time to consider that, actually, if you take that step back, it will give you the strength to, instead of having one step forward, do like three steps forward. And I think that this concept is absolutely amazing, and we all need to really value that particular thing,
Yes.
so we can do the things that we want to do. We can support the people that we want to support. We can have whatever we want to have in our lives, in our homes, and so on and so forth. But we need to take that time for
Yeah.
ourselves. We need to relax.
Absolutely. Ah, so true. And as you were talking, then I was just picturing, because I always have like this horse and cart story, that actually instead of putting the horse before the cart, actually ourselves first, so that we can pull the cart, we put the cart in front of the horse. So now what is the, so we're just piling stuff into that cart. The horse is now facing the cart and saying, well, what do you want me to do? I'm at the back, I'm facing the cart, I can't do anything. And that's often the position that we put ourselves in. We pile in all this
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
but we have no energy to actually do the shifting. And so we have to come back and just say, I want to show up in my job, in my business. I want to do brilliant things. I want to change the world. I want to be there for my kids. I want to be there for my partner. All of those things are important and they matter. However, our ability to really give all of those things the time and the energy they require, if we are not replenished, is minimal. There's only so much we will be able to do. And also, I think it's even on a deeper level as understanding, if we work from that place and we allow ourselves to burn out, we're damaging the body, because burnout is not just this, we hear the word so often now. I think people are forgetting just
Yeah,
how damaging it is. It damages your internal systems, the way the body functions, which means you then need lots of time to recover. So guess what? At some point, you have to let go of stuff anyway. Now your body's making you let go of stuff, and
that's
probably
it.
for a lot longer than had you just been replenishing yourself along the way. And I think that is a really important thing.
I love the metaphor of the cart and the horse. I think that is a fantastic metaphor, and if we just remember that, it's going to give us the opportunity to really, take that moment and relax. But yes, our bodies are really there to tell us their story, and if we listen to our bodies, we probably do well with our relaxation or whatever else that we need. So that is the problem, though, that as you said, if we get to that stage of no return, with like the body is telling you now stop it,
Yeah.
then that could mean health issues that need a long time to recover. And I know of women that they decide that, like after they really had a nervous breakdown, it can really get you to that state. And when you are there, coming back to visibility, invisibility, it is when you are really there making your own self invisible.
Yes. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
why get to that state? That's it.
Yeah, and then that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, if we're tired, exhausted, and frazzled, if we haven't got any energy, these are not moments when we want to be seen. So it's
Yeah.
really then almost easy to step into invisibility, because that's probably where we feel safer. And we only want to pop our head out to say, yes, I'm still here and I'm still going. But in the scenes at the back, we are in meltdown. This is not the way of operating. That's not what we're designed to do. And you touched on that whole thing about the body and messages. Our bodies are always, every single day, without fail, our
Yeah.
bodies are sending us messages. How much we tune in or out is down to us. And if we tune in sufficiently, we will start to recognize the signs and the symbols of what the body is giving us, what it's asking for, what it's requiring from us. But if we keep on overriding it and ignoring it, the body will find other ways. And I always just say, funny, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and she was saying the very thing. She said, I just keep on ignoring, I just keep on pushing and keep on getting stuff done. She said, and then I had this day, she goes, where I literally just couldn't move. I said, yes, because your body had said, well, if she won't listen to me, I'm just going to take her out of the game. Our bodies
Yeah.
will do that. Our bodies will literally say, enough. And that's how, but we don't need to go there. That's my point, is that,
Exactly. I mean, I suppose in your line of business that you're dealing with a lot of women that are getting to that state, and they eventually realize that wellness is a very important part of their routine. So,
yeah, it's
I
crucial.
mean, we have so many routines about everything and everything. Why can't we include that in, like those 10, 15 minutes? I tell my clients, book yourself, like in the calendar, book yourself a minute, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you can
Yes,
every day, and say, this is my time. I don't care, no children, no pets, no husbands, no bosses, nobody. 5 minutes, you can do that.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
it is so impossible, like people cannot put in their heads. And also, like I have clients that time after time they will come back and say, well, I booked like half an hour for myself, but then I had to. But if
Yeah,
you booked half an hour for Yvonne, you wouldn't have to change it. You would do
absolutely.
everything you could to meet up, right? So
Yes.
why do you discount what you need?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because one, it's a bit of self-value, self-worth. When something else comes up, it's like that's more important. Let me go do that. Quite often, not in every circumstance, but quite often, there is that. Okay, sometimes things are what I would call urgent and important, and they need that attention. But you know what? Even if you have to override that appointment, before you override it, go find another space for it. Because if you had a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment, you would not be just throwing them out the window willy-nilly. You would either be rescheduling them or you'd be going. So do the same for self. So this whole ability that we have to discount what we need, thinking that we're on top of things if we run off and do everything, is just completely balmy. I understand how it's occurred, because we live in a time where that's pretty much the message that we get. But when you hear some of the stories of, um, you know, and I'm going to say, but it's not only women. So this is men also. But when you hear the stories of the depths at which people think in terms of stress and depression, um, and dare I say even suicide, because they have just persistently pushed and pushed and pushed themselves and not come up for air, not come up to actually, wow, I need to catch my breath before I go again. So for me, it's, relaxation is something that sounds like such a soft kind of topic, but it's such an essential part of what we do to maintain a sense of sanity, even, right? Just to keep
Absolutely.
sane, knowing that actually, if I take these 5 minutes, I block everything else out and I just be with me. One, it gives you the opportunity to hear what's going on with you, mentally and physically. What are those signs and symbols and messages coming up? But it also allows you to disengage from all the crazy, which you're going to go back to. But if you do not unplug yourself from it, I just feel that it's such a damaging thing to do. And, yes, with my clients, I see it, I hear it, and we work on it, because the whole point of them coming to me is that they realize this is not good. This isn't working for me. I am not getting better. Um, and I'm not actually delivering on all the things that I want to. I'm not doing it because I don't have the energy to. So it's like, but I want us to get to a place, Evie, where we're not having to burn out and be half dead before we realize that this is not a good thing.
But that's the whole point. I mean, and we need like to really be kind to ourselves. We need to also understand what our limits are, because a lot of us don't understand it. And maybe, I don't want to say that AIDS like changes things, but yes, it does. When it comes to what you can take on, what you want to take on, and what you're willing to take on, all these things that do change with AIDS, because hopefully as we grow older, we realize as well the importance of like being true to self and being back to self, like you were saying. And the other thing is that we need to define that, like the relaxation for us,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
also, like, I know, for example, I'm a big, like, I had that idea that relaxation, what is relaxation? You go to the spa, but I don't like spa. So, I'm not going to relax then. Since I don't like being massaged. So I'm not going to be relaxed. But that is, that is me. And that is what my thinking of relaxation was, because of the messages that I was getting from outside. But
Yes.
I realized that, okay, actually, what relaxes me? I relax when I walk, and I walk fast, but I that relaxes me. That is for me, and I don't like walking with other people, because I like to follow my own rhythm and
Yes.
move on that, because
Yeah.
that movement really helps me. So that is relaxation. And if you want to do that for like 10 minutes, that's enough. Really, it does replenish you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. No, it's not for anyone to define what relaxation is to you. You get to choose what that is. For somebody, it may be, I just want to pick up a non-fiction book, that's about nothing important, that I can just indulge myself in and be with, and I can laugh out loud, or whatever that stuff is. If that feels relaxing to you, if that allows you to escape all of the mental angst and stuff that is normally present, do that. If it is having a massage, go do that. If it is,
exactly.
lying on the bed. So one of the things that I love to do, and I don't do it every day, although I'm very open to that concept, is I like to, especially if I've been with a client or I've been out in nature and I come back, I just like to just lie down for 5 minutes. Just lie down, no noise, no anything, just lie down and just tune into my body. And just almost like scan my body, and just see if there are any signs or any signals coming up that I need to be aware of. I don't do it every day. I might do it 2, 3 times a week, but it feels so pleasant. And it's just me unplugging from all the things that I have done, that I have yet to do, and that I might want to do. It's just that moment. And it really does, for me, that helps to give me clarity when I go back to doing the next thing that I have to do. It just does. I just kind of seem to go back with a clearer head. So I really value those moments. Um, and in the world of physical intelligence, one of the modalities that I trained in, we talk about rest. So we look at it as an anagram, and we talk about the R being retreat, the E being eat, the S being sleep, and the T being treat. And so what we're saying is, when you need to rest or relax, retreat, go to your quiet place, whatever that looks like.
Yeah,
Um, eat well, because nourishing your body is part of relaxation, right? Sitting down, you're saying, even if you sit down for a meal with your family and it's not something you get to do very often, that can be relaxing, because it's just this wonderful opportunity to have this social engagement and enjoy good food, right? Knowing that you're nourishing yourself. Sleep, well, so essential. I don't even want to go into the whole sleep thing, but sleep is an absolute essential, and I'm not even going to go the 7 to 9 hours is ideal. Just get sleep, because it is where your body gets to heal and repair itself. it is essential for long-term health. Well, it's essential for health, but certainly for long-term health. And then the treat element is how what are the things that you want to treat yourself to? And so, and I always find this one interesting. Treat can be like a glass of wine or a bottle of beer, and okay, they're treats, but they're probably not the best treats in terms of they don't necessarily aid the body in the same way as other treats could. So what other treats could you give yourself that actually are for your overall well-being? Because I think sadly when it comes to things like a glass of wine, unless you're really good at just having a glass of wine can quickly turn into 2 or 3, and then actually it's no longer a treat, it's something completely different. So we have to just be mindful. But I love that as an anagram: retreat, eat, sleep, treat. Simple.
That's amazing. That's really good. But the thing with treat, and we need to address this. Like, it is, I think, a societal type of meaning that we attach to treat. But treat can be like as relaxation, anything that you want. Not necessarily. I mean, when I hear treat, I mean, to be honest with you, I think chocolate. And I think a lot of people,
as long as it's 100% dark chocolate, you're okay, Evie.
But that's the thing, you see. I mean, so you should consider what is a treat that really helps everything. And I do apologize for sweating like this, but I am in a very hot room at the moment, and it's
can't see it.
Like I'm just
melting.
So I will take this as a sauna, so a bit of treat for myself. And we'll name that treat. There you go. So,
very good for the skin. Very good for the skin. You'll be fine. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. The treat element, is that we just need to be mindful when we think about treats, what that treat really is. One of the things that I used to do when I lived in London, and I used to get home from work on a Friday, and my treat was to just run a really bubbly bath and go and and sometimes it would be with a book, which was not great because of course it gets very damp, but anyway, but sometimes with a book, sometimes without, and just lie there in these bubbles and fluffiness. It's like the end of the week, and it's just like, this just feels so nice and kind for self. That used to be a big treat for me. Funnily enough, now, not only am I not necessarily a fan of sitting in baths for long periods of time, I love cold showers. So that treat has no longer has the same feeling for me. But now a treat might be, sometimes a treat for me might be simply to call a friend who I just want to have a quick catch up with. It's like, I'm not going to let this keep on rolling by. I'm going to have myself a little girl chat and catch up and see what's going on. That can sometimes be the treat that I need in that particular moment. So again, we get to define. Yes.
Treat changes through time. Or indeed, whatever you consider relaxing, like, you had considered relaxing might not be the same now. But yeah, yes, that's the whole thing, the fluidity of relaxation and how it can support your well-being. And you did say, sorry, is that loud now?
I can't, sorry.
You cannot hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, I lost you there when you just spoke.
So I said that is the whole point of being able to give yourself the right time to relax, and also listen to yourself and see what relaxing means for you.
Yes,
that's the whole point.
Definitely. And I think that if we continue to, and I don't know if ignore is the right word, but I'm just going to use it for now. If we continue to ignore the importance of relaxing, if we keep on bypassing it, putting it off, leaving it for another day, and then it's another day, if we keep on doing that, then we will just continually be feeding into the societal expectations of go, foot on the pedal, until we reclaim our need and desire to rest and to relax and to actually come back to self, we'll just keep on feeding the narrative that says we don't need those things, we just need to keep going. The only relaxation you need is when you go to bed at night and you sleep, and actually don't sleep for too long because we need you back in the office at 5 o'clock. I mean, it's just bonkers. And we have, I almost feel like we've just been sucked into that thinking without thinking for ourselves. And we need to come back to that place where actually, how is this working for me? How is this constant bombardment of information and demands on my resources working for me? Because if it's not working for me, then I need to choose to do something different. I need to choose to address it, and then decide how we're going to do that. I just want to encourage everyone actually to understand that time that you give to yourself should be cherished. It's a time to honor yourself and honor who you are, why you're here. And if you do that, I would put my hand on my heart and say, when you go back in to the having to do stuff, you will do so on a whole different level and feeling so much better and feeling resourced.
Yeah,
100%.
that's it. It is important to, as you said, honor yourself. That's the key word here. And we do honor everyone around us. Let's take time to honor ourselves as well, once in a while, and do it in a way that will replenish us and will make us better versions of ourselves. I mean, nobody that is depleted can actually function 100%. There is no
No,
way.
no. That whole thing about, being optimally well or optimally or performing optimally, you cannot perform optimally on a half empty or empty tank. Therefore, that alone tells us the importance of stopping to replenish. And I say stopping, slowing down, because replenishing on the go is not the same as stopping,
No.
slowing down, and actually really taking notice and being with yourself. And that for me is something, I sometimes, I had a discussion with somebody recently. They said, oh, well, I do kind of do all these things for myself and I do eat well, but I'm usually kind of running from A to B. Well, then you're not really replenishing yourself because you're still running from A to B. So if you're not taking that moment to actually slow down or stop better and really tune in, this is all about that, this thing of coming back to self, being respectful and mindful of self, and actually saying, how am I feeling? Because that's the other thing we do. How are you? We do this all the time. Oh, how are you? How are you? When was the last time you said, how am I? How am I? And tune into that message and see what comes up for you. Because when you get the message from that, you may suddenly realize, I need to be doing more for me. I need to be ensuring that I have got what I need to go and perform in whatever arena it is that I choose to do so. That's kind of my take.
No, and that's amazing. I mean, I think that that question is very important, and I have never really asked it myself, and I think that that is one thing I'm definitely going to take away from this discussion. I'll be asking myself, how
Yeah.
am I?
Yes.
Because when you are asked this by anyone, it's like almost the response is automatic. It's like, yeah, I'm okay, or I could be better, or something along those lines. But we rarely really dig deep in the moment to say exactly what we feel or how we are. And I think that is the thing, is like the how we feel and how we are two very different things as well. I was reading the other day about the distinction between those two things, and it is important to ask both the questions, because
Yes.
there are a lot of messages hidden behind those things, and you don't necessarily want to discuss all these things with somebody randomly that's going to say, how are you? But when you ask yourself, you can take time, and potentially that could be your relaxing time, where you are contemplating or you are meditating and using those questions to actually take those 5 minutes and think on it. So that's
Indeed,
one
it's
amazing.
it's a moment of reflection, right? And whether you ask yourself at the beginning of the day when you're getting up and you're getting ready for the day, how am I? How am I in this moment right now? It's a lovely check-in with self. And if you do it in the middle of the day, if you do it at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when. But if you start to make that a habit, and you really do take 3, 4, 5 minutes to really just get a sense of what that is, wow, what a difference it can make. Because if
Absolutely.
you realize that you are completely drained and under resourced, it will give you pause for thought about what you're going to put into your schedule. It will give you pause for thought. If you don't do it, you bypass it. And you know what? We're really good at bypassing. We are brilliant at it. We just bypass our feelings. We bypass how what's going on with our bodies. We bypass some of the important thoughts, because we're just being pushed down a specific road or a specific way of thinking or being. So I think that self check-in is absolutely essential. And we're talking here about being visible. When we're being visible, we want to turn up being visible at our best. And I don't mean being 100% shiny polishy best. I mean feeling good, feeling in tune
Absolutely.
with ourselves. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
And that
definitely.
really does elevate our visibility.
And you see, the thing is that also, I think if you are in a resourced mode, you are naturally becoming visible to others, because you are in a different energy, and that creates like the good vibes that people are like, seeing
Attracted,
more, are
attracted to.
attracted to.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that also is a great byproduct of
yeah,
relaxation.
yes,
So
100%. Yeah, fantastic point. And actually so valid. That good vibes. If you're replenished, that energy that you bring, that vibrational level that you're working on is very different. I saw a scale the other day about asking what vibration are you working at, and down the bottom is like miserable and all this stuff, because you're empty, because there's nothing there, right up to joyful and hopeful, and and all this stuff, which is a sign that you are replenished, that your tank is being replenished on a regular basis. And I think for the vast majority, because I never like to say all, because I think that may be pushing it, but for the vast majority, that's where we want to be. We want to be
absolutely.
in that space, but it's not going to happen by chance. It's not going to happen by magic. It requires us to do some stuff. And that begins with the self care, that begins by relaxing, finding times to be with ourselves and enjoy being with ourselves, dare I say.
Absolutely. And I want to close this with the fact that the time is something that we all make as many excuses as we can find that we don't have. However, time is one commodity that every single one of us has the same of. We cannot make more time, we cannot have less time, whatever it is, 24 hours in a day. So for the things that we want to do, we always find time, and I can definitely think of that. So wanting to really, and choosing yourself for like 10 minutes, I think it's not like a huge sacrifice in a way. I think that it's like almost an imperative thing.
Yeah.
But even though I don't like to say imperative, because at the end of the day, it's, up to each and every one of us to do what we want to do with our time. But
Yes.
yeah, we can find 10 minutes for us in
Absolutely.
a day.
And I just want to add to that. It is never a sacrifice to give time to yourself. That's a blessing. The day is a blessing. And how you treat yourself are the blessings you give to yourself for all that you're going to put out in the world. So for me, sacrifice doesn't even get a look in. And I think I'm going to close on just asking yourselves on a regular basis, how am I? And really allowing yourself to be honest with yourself when you ask the question. Because like you said, Evie, when other people ask us, we're usually off doing something anyway. So it's like, yeah, I'm fine. Oh, yeah, I'm great. It's these really quick answers. But this is an opportunity to actually ask yourself and then be with yourself to really hear and feel the answer, because that will drive you to do something different or more of or instead of. And that for me, is essential. So, if you want to be visible and brilliant in this world, please, please, please begin with self and fill up your tank.
Yep. And it's not a selfish thing to do either. Actually, it's quite selfless if you do that, because you
Yeah.
can you can show up so differently, can't you?
100%. Everybody wins. I always just say, if you feel brilliant, everybody wins. It's that simple. Everybody wins. So, with that, I'm going to say, Evie, thank you as always for the
Thank
conversation.
you, Yvonne. It's been
Happy relaxation day to you, and I hope that I know that you've got so much stuff on your plate at the moment that relaxation finds its way into your flow. I definitely will be making sure that I do, because I'm just about to head out into nature. That's my next break.
lovely.
My next
Yep.
break. And for anyone and everyone who's watching or watches this on replay, happy relaxation day to you too. And please, please honor yourself with the time that you need to fill your cup. You deserve it, and so does the world.
Absolutely. Happy relaxation day. Thank you,
Relaxation
Yvonne.
day.